Yo, what's up everybody? It's always Stand 'em Up here. Today I'm going to be doing another quick UFC Fight Night breakdown. This time it's going to be UFC Fight Night Vera versus Sandhagen, one of the best fights of the year in my opinion. The fight night is great, so let's just get into it. Main event, of course, Vera versus Sandhagen. This is going to be a close fight. Two tall, lanky strikers with a lot of power in the kicks. Marlon Vera has a lot of power in the strikes as well, and the boxing. Cory Sandhagen is the guy that will be getting the points, and Marlon Vera is the guy that will be doing more damage. But I feel like Cory should get this one done. He is the cleaner striker. He has a bigger arsenal. He can fight more in open space. Marlon Vera is more of a stalking fighter, so I'm going with Cory in hopes that he does not get knocked out. It's possible, but I don't see it. He's too slick, too fast, too good, and I feel like he'll get a decision 48-47 or 49-46. Next up, the co-main event: Holly Holm versus Yana Santos, formerly known as Yana Kunitskaya. I'm going with Holly Holm. By decision. Yana hasn't impressed me too much. I feel like Holly should get it done, just striking, get her in the clinch against the side of the cage and beat her like that. And then next up, another women's fight: Andrea Lee versus Macy Barber. Before we get into the fight itself, I just want to highlight this real quick. Andrea Lee. First of all, you guys see the picture. It's the Soviet Union team. Her nickname is KGB, which is pretty weird because she is American, but her coach thought that she looked Russian, so that's why they gave her this nickname, and she kind of ran with it. I guess it's pretty cool, funny to see, and even Russian people, fighters and everything, they took pictures with her because of the Russian flag and the Soviet flag and everything. It's pretty funny. But onto the fight, I do think that KGB, she'll win this fight in my opinion. She's the better striker. The wrestling isn't terrible. Macy Barber, I'm not impressed with her whatsoever. She had a very close fight against Jessica Ai, which at this point you shouldn't be having a close fight with Jessica Ai if you want to be elite. I feel like Macy Barber just isn't elite yet. She is the bigger and probably stronger fighter, but I feel like Andrea Lee will just be the better fighter here, outstrike her and get a decision that way. Next up, Chidi Njokwani versus Albert Duraev. Albert Duraev, the Russian prospect and everything, but kind of I don't want to say a fraud. I don't like to use that word because if you see in the UFC, clearly he's good, but he isn't as good as advertised. 15-4 at this point, lost a few fights, beat a few people that weren't that great, like Roman Kopylov. He's got some wins right now, but nothing too crazy. Chidi Njokwani, though, a great striker, a lot of power, very explosive, especially in the first round, but I feel like he kind of gives up, man. One time gets tough, like against RoboCop. He was winning the first round, but like when he got taken down, he just curled up and just let the fight end by ground and pound. He is definitely the better fighter, and he in the first round he does have a good way to stand up, but I don't know, man. Albert is good on the ground when he gets you to the ground, but his wrestling isn't amazing. His striking isn't good either. His striking defense is pretty bad as well. So I'm going with Chidi to beat him in the first round. But if he doesn't, I really do feel like Albert should get this one done by decision or maybe another TKO. Chidi is so powerful, like in the first round, too quick, too powerful, too explosive, in my opinion. So I'm going with him. Now we got Alex Perez versus Minal Kape. Alex Perez, man, one of the guys that is a bit underrated in my opinion. Lost to Pantoja, lost to the former champ Figueiredo, but he beat a lot of good guys as well. But a lot of injuries, a lot of pullouts, and just it doesn't feel like the momentum is going his way. Well, if we look at Manel Kape, he had a great last performance against David Dvorak. He did really well in that fight, and I feel like he's only getting better at this point. He's a great boxer, great BJJ grappler as well, great wrestler. great kicker as well. So I'm going with him. I think that he will get this one done by decision because Alex Perez is pretty tough and has pretty good wrestling as well. So I'm going with Cobb by decision. Next up, Nate Landwehr versus Austin Lingo. This is a tough one, man. But Austin Lingo, when he got into the UFC, he lost to Yusuf Zalal, which isn't a good look in my opinion. Nate Landwehr beat good guys like David Onama. Did got knocked out by Julian Erosa, which, you know, Erosa is an on-and-off fighter, so I can understand it happening. Nate Landwehr is a dog, though, and I feel like these guys will fight in a similar style. So I'm going with Nate. I'm going with Nate by decision. Next up, CJ Vergara versus Daniel Da Silva. Daniel Da Silva 0-3 in the UFC. He's alright in the first round. And after that he just crumbles. Lost his first fight in the UFC against Jeff Molina. The Jeff Molina that got leaked, yeah. But I'm going with CJ Vergara. I feel like Daniel Da Silva it just isn't that great. He gets too tired too fast. He's very explosive in the first though. So he might catch CJ with a spinning kick or submit him real quick, but I don't see it happening. I feel like CJ, although he's had a few losses, in the past, he's still a pretty good fighter. So I'm going with him. Next up, Daniel Pineda versus Tucker Lutz. This is a tough one because Pineda is a good BJJ practitioner, but he gets tired pretty quick. He's pretty big for 145, but I feel like he gets tired too quick. The striking isn't there. The striking defense isn't there either. Tucker Lutz, on the other hand, pretty good striking, alright wrestling. He did get dominated by Sabatelli, but I feel like Pineda isn't on that level just yet, and I feel like he does get tired a lot quicker. And if Tucker Lutz has learned anything, he should get this one done. Trevin Giles versus Preston Parsons. This is a pretty fun fight in my opinion. Parsons isn't too bad. He's an alright wrestler and striker. Just overall a good fighter. While Trevin Giles is more of a striker. Fighting at 170 now. Like he would have been so much better if his chin held up, but his chin just doesn't. He doesn't have a good chin. He gets caught. And not only is his chin bad, he just get caught too clean at times, and that's just a problem. I'm going with Trevin Giles though. I feel like he should be able to defend the takedowns and out jab Parsons. This might be a fun fight if Parsons, throws bombs, but I don't know. Giles might just jab his face off for 15 minutes, and it won't be a fun fight, but it could be. I'm going with Giles. I'm going with Giles by decision because he isn't the biggest power puncher. Next up, Steven Peterson versus Lucas Alexander. This is a tough one, man. My bad. Steven Peterson 19-10, so he's winning one, losing one. Last time out lost to Erosa, which it's alright because Erosa was on a big run at that time, and Steven hurt him a few times. But I don't know, man. I feel like he isn't that great. His wrestling is alright, striking is alright, the striking defense isn't alright. But Lucas Alexander, man, what has he shown us in his UFC debut? He lost to Jay Anderson Brito, who is pretty good. He came in on short notice. You know what? I'll just go with him. I'm not high on Steven Peterson. I feel like he doesn't really do it to become a champion. I feel like Lucas does. So he's the more hungry guy, the younger guy. He finally has a good camp. He lost his first fight, so he's probably more hungry than Steven. So I'm going with him. Then we got Vinicius Salvador versus Victor Altamirano. Vinicius Salvador beat Shannon Ross easily, beat him by TKO, even played with him at times. Victor Altamirano, he lost his first fight in the UFC. I'm not too impressed with the guy. Wrestling is alright, striking is alright, but I feel like Vinicius is a better striker and he should be able to keep the fight on the feet and won the fight that way, so I'm going with Vinicius Salvador. Next up, Manuel Torres versus Trey Ogden. another tough one, man. This card is pretty fun, like matchup wise. Like this one, Manuel Torres is a banger. So, but it's going to be tough. Torres is the better striker. Trey Ogden isn't a terrible striker either. Ogden probably has a better BJJ. I'm not sure about the wrestling. My bad. I'm not sure about the wrestling, but I'm going with Torres. I feel like the boxing is much better. He has more power. He knocked out a guy in this last one, in Frank Camacho, who isn't. Yeah, he was UFC level, but knocked him out still, pretty good. I'm going Torres, but to be honest, I'm not too impressed with him either. I would be surprised if he lost this one. But I'm going with Torres by TKO because he does have power, and Trey Ogden hasn't impressed me on the feet. So Torres by TKO. And then we got last but not least Tamires Fidal versus Haley Cohen. Fidal got a flying knee TKO in the last fight, if I'm not wrong, against Ramon Pascual, but Pascual is not good. She was UFC level ever. So I'm going with Fidal. In this one, I'm going with Fidal. Haley Cohen hasn't impressed me either. She's big, she's strong from the looks of it, but I feel like Fidal should just be the better fighter here and should get the win. So yeah, let's just get over the card real quick. I'm going with Fidal, with Torres, with Salvador, with Alexander, with Giles, Tucker Lutz, CJ Vergara, Nate Landwehr, Manel Kapp, Chidi, and Jaquani, although this one is close. I'm going with Lee, although close again. I'm going with Holly Holm, and I'm going with Cory Sandhagen, which could backfire. But yeah, that was it, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.